Hey folks, welcome to round 4. In this match, I'm going up against the Hellforge Manticore and his legion of Necrotech Reavers. Specifically, my opponent's army contains 3 squads of Necrotech Reavers, along with one of each of their common heroes, alongside the Hellforge Manticore. This is a pretty solid build, and as I had identified in the tournament preparation video earlier, the Reavers are no joke. Good stats are good. I had tested my army against a Necrotech Reavers build or two, just doing solo play, and I found that if the Necrotech player leads with a Geistfire or a Ghoul Grip surrounded by friendly Necrotech Reavers, they're often able to put a stop to Savaris pretty early in round 1. So that's definitely on the forefront of my mind here. I need to take out the Ghoul Grip or take out the Geistfire really early on so that Savaris has a better chance of living. Little bit of deja vu here, we're back on the map Wool, so I decide to set up my start zone exactly the same way I did in the last game. My opponent has all their order markers on Eisenach army cards, so they're allowed to use Eisenach Advance on the Hellforge's army card to move it forward 4 spaces at the start of the round. They can repeat this at the start of every round if they have order markers on Eisenach cards. Now, to a lot of the bigger armies, the ones that kind of swarm the board, I think the Hellforge can be a bit of a scary threat. But specifically against my army, being as low figure count as it is, I'm not really feeling the pressure here. In fact, I kind of want my opponent to use the Hellforge. Because every time they bond with the Hellforge using the Reavers can only use one common figure that turn. They can't use all 3 of the squad, only a single member of the squad. So it's a big cost to bond with a unique Eisenach hero versus bonding with their common heroes. And I just think the common hero bonding is a little bit more powerful against my army specifically. So I'm going to play this a little bit differently than the last game. Savaris is still going to move forward and contest the Valda glyph in the south here, but I kind of want to prioritize taking out the Eisenach common heroes and the Eisenach squad figures more than the Hellforge itself. I kind of want my opponent to use the Hellforge because I feel like it limits their ability to deal with Savaris. That being said, I won't pass up doing free damage to it, so when we roll for initiative and I win, I reveal Order Marker 1 on Savaris, step him forward, and manage to do 2 wounds to the Hellforge right out of the gate, earning my free space on the bingo card. On my opponent's order marker, they wisely choose not to bond with the Hellforge and instead take a turn with a Geistfire, moving it up to the tree cover bonus here. They then develop 3 of the Necrotech Reavers to kind of surround the area, one of which contests Valda, and this puts me in a bit of a pickle for my next turn. Do I go for the Geistfire first and let my opponent potentially take Valda next turn? Or do I go after the one contesting Valda and open myself up to a heighted attack down on Savaris from the Geistfire? Well, neither option is especially great for me, but if Star Trek Voyager has taught me anything, there's a right way, a wrong way, and a Janeway, and I choose to do the Janeway option. The Janeway is doing the benefits of both with the drawbacks of neither, so on my order marker 2, I move Savaris up onto high ground, close enough that I can actually reduce my range to 6 and take 2 shots, one against the Geistfire and one against the one contesting Valda. Since my army relies on high variance, this is one of those plays that I just need it to work out. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The first shot against the Geistfire is blocked, so it takes the follow-up shot to take him down. In hindsight, though, perhaps doing these rolls in the opposite order would have been the better play. The one contesting Valda isn't a direct threat to Savaris, but him standing on Valda will make all of his buddies direct threats to Savaris in a much greater way. If I kill that one, then the Geistfire, sure, it gets a shot, 3 against 2, but it won't be able to kill Savaris from that shot, and I'll be able to take out the Geistfire next turn. I think I maybe just had my priorities mixed up here. Taking out the Geistfire early on is really important because it can just continuously peck away at Savaris's meager health and defense, but stopping my opponent from getting Valda this early on in the game could have been huge. Moreover, I've actually positioned Savaris in a place where if my opponent does lose the figure contesting Valda, then they can't actually reach him with any of the other Reavers. Only the Geistfire will get a shot at him next turn. So while I went for the big play here, I think a smaller play where I just focus on contesting Valda probably would have served me better in the long run. My opponent reveals Order Marker 2 on the Necrotech Reavers, and yeah, now I'm in trouble. The Ghoul Grip moves up down here, next to the tree bonus, getting ready to lock down Savaris. And with 7 move now, the Reavers are actually able to get in and attack Savaris with a melee attack, dealing 1 damage. I'm pretty lucky that attack didn't do more, because it definitely had the potential to. So yeah, looking back on this, it was a big mistake to let my opponent take Valda instead of focus firing that Reaver down first. So now I reveal Order Marker 3 on Savaris, summon another Kraken Tentacle, and I decide to command the Kraken. Let's get the Kraken to get me out of this mess. A reoccurring theme you're gonna notice as you watch through this game is that Slugger just can't catch a break, man. Despite this first Kraken Tentacle having height on the Necrotech Reaver below it, my tentacle's rolling with 5 attack dice, 3 base, plus 1 from the pirate bonus from Crimson Widow, plus height, 5 going down on 4. That really should be able to kill the Reaver, but I'm unable to do that. And then the other Kraken Tentacle over here, I positioned it in a way so that it can tie up the Ghoul Grip, and I attacked up at the Reaver on high ground, and that attack doesn't go through either. So despite the odds theoretically being in my favor that I get at least one of these kills this turn, I get neither, and now I'm in a really bad spot. My opponent reveals Order Marker 3 on the Necrotech Reavers. They move the Ghoul Grip up onto high ground to make an attack down on the Kraken Tentacle, and they're able to wound it. They then activate the 2 Reavers that are already engaged with tentacles, as well as moving this one up in the north onto the Glyph of Wannock. The Reavers already engaged with the tentacles make their attacks, but they are rebuffed. The one next to Savaris actually attacked Savaris here, and I was able to block it, so maybe I was wrong earlier. Maybe Slugger can catch a break. This is still a really bad position for me to be in, but Savaris still having 3 life remaining at the end of round 1 is a blessing. I'll take it. Going into round 2, I really want to get an Order Marker or 2 on Savaris, but he's so frail, he's so fragile, and my opponent's going to be able to move the Hellforge in really close now, because they're going to get an Ice Neck advance, and then they have +2 move from the Glyph of Valda. So if I lose initiative, I might just lose Savaris outright. And I feel at this stage of the game, if I lose Savaris this early, it might be lights out. So I need to plan on winning initiative here. Feels a little early in the day to have to do that, but well, here we are. So I'm going to put Order Marker 1 on Savaris to hopefully get something done with him. One of the options might be to just move forward, take the leaving engagement attack, and just mag dump the Hellforge and take it out. I definitely have done that before in some of my test games, and it's super powerful. If you get 3 attacks of 5 going down into it, it can't hold up against that. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not I actually do want to take out the Hellforge, because I kind of want my opponent to keep on using it. I just feel it's a less efficient way to defeat me is using the Hellforge. Still, Savaris is 110 points, and I need to do something to earn his value here. So here's what I decide to do, and this is a pretty unorthodox thing. I don't recommend doing it very often, but this is what I decided. I put Order Marker 1 on Savaris with the hopes of doing something with him his turn, and by revealing an Order Marker on him, I get to summon a Kraken Tentacle. Then I put Order Marker 2 on the Kraken, because by then I would have 4 tentacles on the board, provided they all survive, and I could do a lot of damage with that. Then, Order Marker 3 is on the Knaves, and the X is on Crimson Widow to allow the pirate buff bonus there. So then the Knaves could bond with Widow, who could reveal the X order marker and move the Knaves forward. Then I could intercept the turn with Widow with the Kraken, and then the Knaves could run in and do some damage. So like there's a master plan here, and it all hinges on winning initiative and being able to do all this sort of stuff. So can you guess where this is going? Yeah, my opponent wins initiative, moves in with the Hellforge, and through combined attacks with the Hellforge and the Necrotech Reaver standing next to him there, they're able to kill Savaris. Yeah, so that sucks. I don't regret the order marker 1 on Savaris, though. I think it's still worth the shot, worth the risk here, because if my opponent does take out Savaris, whether or not they kill the order marker is somewhat immaterial. I feel like I've taken a huge blow, so losing the order marker doesn't, it doesn't twist the knife all that much, to be honest. So yeah, anyways, I reveal order marker 1 on Savaris and miss my turn. My opponent then reveals order marker 2 on the Necrotech Reavers, and they decide to keep on using the Hellforge. I guess why not if it's working for you. They back the Hellforge into this space here, and they're able to kill one of the Kraken tentacles next to them, but they aren't able to heal off of it. They aren't able to feed the Forge. By the way, the tentacle that they took out there was one that I had already chose to wound with the Glyph of Wannock, because my opponent rolled for that at the end of last round. That might have been a mistake, to be honest. Maybe that wound should have gone on Crimson Widow instead, because I was planning on putting an order marker on the Kraken this round, and not really using Crimson Widow, so I think I might have made a bit of a blunder on that call. Anyways, I get to reveal order marker 2 on the Kraken, and time for vengeance! One of the Kraken tentacles attacked down on the Hellforge, doing 3 more wounds, putting it within an inch of its life, so that feels good. And the one on the low ground actually attacks up and destroys the Necrotech Reaver above it, so that's awesome to see there. My opponent then reveals order marker 3 on the Necrotech Reavers, and through a combination of the Hellforge and the Reaver that was working in tandem with it, they're able to clean up the last 2 Kraken tentacles. I still have 2 more off to the side of the map there, but in order to summon those in, I'll have to put order markers on the Crimson Widow. Let's hope I don't need to do that, because that would mean things are getting pretty desperate. Now I reveal order marker 3 on the Knaves. I flip over the X order marker on Crimson Widow to move the 2 Knaves that were in the south 3 spaces forward. I have to bond with Crimson Widow because there's no more Kraken on the board here, so she moves up a little bit. And then I launch the Knaves into attack mode here, and they, credit where credit's due. They do their job. One is able to kill the Hellforge Manticore, and the other is able to take out the Reaver on Valda. The 2 remaining Knaves are in staging areas to get them ready for the next round of assaults here. One kind of in the middle in this section here, but the other one here is actually next to the tree cover, kind of getting ready to contest the Glyph of Wannock at the start of next round. I didn't mention it earlier, but at the start of every round, my opponent has the option to upgrade any of their Necrotech Reavers into any of their destroyed common heroes, so they opted to put the Geistfire on the Glyph of Wannock over here. Since they don't have any other destroyed common heroes at the end of this round, they don't get to use this ability. So it's the end of the round. I opt to put the wound on Crimson Widow this time around, which might have been the smart place to put it earlier as well too. And I'm in a pretty good spot if I win initiative, because I can get a lot of attacks off with the Knaves at full strength here. And that's what I plan for here, so I'm putting all the real order markers on the Knaves and the X on Crimson Widow. I don't really have many other options, I think, at this point. Well, as you might have guessed, my opponent wins initiative and reveals order marker 1 on the Necrotech Reavers. In a very frustrating moment here, they bond with the Necrotech Geistfire on the Wannock glyph, and they're actually able to kill the Knave standing next to the tree bonus, despite having the extra cover against ranged attacks. That's so annoying. But anyways, they're unstable blaster triggers, and so they actually take a wound for their trouble anyways. It's not enough to get them off of Wannock, but yeah, it's something. They then develop 2 Reavers from their start zone and take out 1 more Knave on the mound in the center here. So I haven't even revealed my first order marker and have already lost 2 of my knaves. This is going very well. Now, losing knaves really quickly is part of the experience of playing the knaves, but in my position, I just don't think I had many other viable order marker targets. I think I just have to put them on the knaves, go full send here, and hope that I win initiative and can, swing things in my favor before too many are taken out. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, and so when I reveal order marker 1 on the knaves, I bond with Crimson Widow first and try to do what I can. Widow beelines towards Wannock because my opponent having Wannock is just going to slowly suck the life out of me. I need to deal with that. I thought the knave would be enough, but apparently not, so Crimson Widow's got to go do it herself. The knave that was waiting in the center here to launch its attack, launches its attack, but it is blocked. The final knave is pretty much forced to retreat here in order to protect the order marker, because if I run this knave in to do more damage, my opponent could really easily kill both knaves, and in doing so kill 2 order markers off my card. I can't allow that to happen, so while it doesn't feel good to run a knave away instead of running in to do damage, I kind of have to do that to continue using Crimson Widow this round. My opponent reveals order marker 2 on the Necrotech Reavers, and instead of bonding with either the Ghoul Grip or the Geistfire and attacking either the Knave or Crimson Widow, they decide to start bringing up the Ghast Blade. And I don't know if I like this call. Obviously it does threaten Crimson Widow here, but I don't know if you need to do that just yet. Killing one or both of these figures with the figures you already have up here should be doable, should be viable, but so anyways, they move up the Ghast Blade and then activate 3 other Necrotech Reavers. 2 of the Reavers attack into the Knave here, which manages to survive, so I think I was wrong about that theme of Slugger not catching a break, because that's a huge break to catch. The other one is sent up north here to kind of protect the Ghast Blade and to fight off the Crimson Widow. I reveal order marker 2 on the Knaves and bond with Crimson Widow, and I decide, you know what, I need to go deal with that Ghast Blade first before it can hit me for 4 attack. So I move in, and unfortunately I'm only able to wound it. A kill there would have been great, but oh well. The Knave then greases himself up and slips out of the grasp of these Reavers and goes and attacks a Reaver that was developing mid-map and is able to get the kill there. The reason why I ran him away was because if I stay in the same spot, I don't get the +1 attack from having the first assault. And I figured, you know what, if I have to make them run after me anyways, then I'll do that. In retrospect, maybe keeping the Reavers down here away from the Glyph of Wannock would have been better, so maybe I should have stood my ground there. But it's a tough call. The other Knave just retreats further into the start zone. My opponent then reveals order marker 3 on the Necrotech Reavers, and they use the Ghast Blade to cut into the Crimson Widow, attacking and doing 2 wounds of damage. The Reaver beside the Ghast Blade also attacks Crimson Widow, but it is blocked. And then the last 2 Reavers down here chase down that Knave and put it into the dirt. I then reveal order marker 3 on the Knave and bond with Crimson Widow. I try to kill the Ghast Blade again, but the attack is unsuccessful. Maybe Slugger can't catch a break. And then I leave the last Knave in the start zone because it's going to die anyways to Wannock. Maybe, the optimal play here is to move the Knave forward just in case my opponent rolls a 1 on Wannock. That's a 5% chance that they do that. So maybe I shouldn't have been so defeatist in this moment, but I just kind of gave up here, I think. So yeah, going into the final round here, I need to set up in a way where I can get the most value out of Crimson Widow and the last 2 remaining Kraken Tentacles. So I decide I need to do 2 real order markers on Crimson Widow. I'm going to throw the X on her as well, too, just to make her a bit of a threat and to give her the ability to use the Midnight Raid if I need it. And then I'm going to put Order Marker 3 on the Kraken and hope that I can pull the rabbit out of the hat here, because this is, it's not looking good. So I finally get the initiative swing back in my favor here, but it's in a circumstance where I really can't do much with it, unfortunately. Here's the mindset, here's the play. I summon the Kraken Tentacle next to Crimson Widow, and I put it in a spot where nothing can run past it without having to take a leaving engagement attack. Then, Crimson Widow still has 2 life on her card. I decide the best strategy here now is to double disengage and go fight the Geistfire over here on this space. That way I'm protected from anything running past me, because both of my opponent's figures here have only 1 life remaining, so they would have to risk a 50-50 chance of getting killed by a leaving engagement attack running past the Kraken Tentacle. And double disengage sounds bad, but that only has a 25% chance of success. My opponent needs to hit both skulls in order for them to stop me from doing this. And you're looking at this photo that doesn't have a Crimson Widow because my opponent rolled 2 skulls on the double disengage. Yeah. I think this was 100% the right call in this moment to try to set up to summon in 2 Kraken Tentacles to be able to dish out some damage here. And you got to go for big plays when you're behind like this, but it didn't pay off in this case. So with that, my opponent is able to reveal Order Marker 1 on the Reavers, who circle the Kraken Tentacle that I summoned, killing it and winning the game for my opponent, ending my tournament streak here with 2 wins and 2 losses. I think in the moment, I was pretty bummed out about this game. It just felt like nothing I did was going right. I really did feel like, man, I just cannot catch a break here. But in retrospect, I'm able to kind of look back at it and kind of analyze a few things where, you know, maybe I made some errors in my judgment. I targeted the wrong things, or I moved the figures in the wrong places. In addition to, there were actually a couple of spots where I did catch a break, right? There was a couple of times where both Savaris and the Knaves were able to defend attacks that they really shouldn't have been able to. So I think the dice gods weren't necessarily in my opponent's favor. It was maybe more of a 50-50 split here. Maybe 60-40 or something. This game felt very unwinnable when I was sitting at the table, but looking at it now, you know, I could see a path where I might have been able to beat this army. Regardless, though, I was able to place in the top 8 and to get my silver-based Crimson Widow with custom art army card, and that's enough to leave me satisfied, I think. Here's a look at some of the other army compositions we saw in the tournament, and there I am at 5th place, you know, winning 50% of my games, and it just so happened that I was wearing that Star Trek V t-shirt, right? Maybe it was fate. As it turned out, that G.I. Joe Ninja and Tanuki build that I faced in round 2 ended up winning the whole thing, went undefeated. In 2nd and 3rd place, we had Isonek armies. The one in 2nd place is the one with the Exiles, the one I talked about in my preparation video, and the one in 3rd place is the army I just fought now. In 4th place, there was a Maladrix plus Savaris plus Nukla V and Acolytes build, which was pretty interesting to see. Below me, there was Bears and Sergeant Drake as a pretty formidable army. I was actually happy I didn't go up against that one, because I think Sergeant Drake could just single-handedly ruin Savaris' day pretty potently. From there, we had Molten Crustaceans and Great Bows. We had Halucia with Tanuki. We had Maladrix with Scoredire. There was a Revenants of Revna army in there as well. Then there's the Gelri and the Awashia build that I played earlier, as well as the Sonlin and Raylan with the Scions build that I also faced. So looking at the armies I faced, I basically played against 2 armies from the top and 2 armies from the bottom of the pile here, landing me somewhere squarely in the middle, which I think is fair. One of the things I really wanted to do for this event, though, was to put together an epic prize table. There were so many prizes to win here, and every game that you completed in the tournament, win or lose, earned you a token that you could then pay to Sonlin and Velsa here in this Heroescaped-themed piggy bank, and you could spend your tokens and earn prizes at the prize table. The way that we did this is that the folks that placed last got to pick first, so everyone got a chance to kind of get something good from the table here, and those who made it into the top 8 obviously got an additional prize from Renegade, that being the silver-based Crimson Widow figure. Overall, it was a huge hit, and we're going to have prize tables like this at our future events as well. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit about Heroescape in the process. Our next event isn't until the end of July, so we'll probably make some tournament videos about that when it comes around to that. But until then, happy scaping!